Hi, it's Josh, and today we're going to talk about workshop manuals. You know, those things that were promised way back in 2022 and just never seemed to arrive, and people that wanted to work on their Grenadier because it was supposed to be easy and repairable by you and so forth. Well, last week I got an email from INEOS, and if you didn't find yours, you probably got one too if you're an owner. And I'm basically going to give a quick review of it. It says, "Hi Josh, we promised, you waited. Then you waited some more. And now it's finally available for our customers, online access to the Grenadier technical publications. It includes workshop manuals, fitment instructions, operation guides, and more to help you understand and maintain your Grenadier like a pro. And to say sorry, it's completely free for 12 months. Okay. We know that not everyone wants to get their hands dirty, but if you need access to technical publications, hit the button below and complete the online access request form. It's been a long time coming, so thank you for your patience." So when I click on the button, it takes me to a form, which you see here, and I'll leave a link to this in the description in case you did not get your email or it fell through to the junk mail. And you have to basically give your name, your email address, phone number is optional, and the VIN number to your Grenadier. And I thought, okay, that's great. I'll get an email that says, here you go. And 6 days later, I get an email and it says, "Dear Josh, thank you for your request to access the online Grenadier manuals. We have successfully received your information and our team is now processing your request. Please note that this process can take up to 6 weeks to complete." And I'm thinking, 6 weeks? Okay. "Once your account has been created, we will send you a separate email containing your personal login details and instructions on how to access the manuals. We appreciate your patience and will be in touch as soon as we have access ready." So I thought, okay, I guess I'm not going to do a video on this anytime soon because I don't want to jump the gun. But then 5 days passed and I get another email that says, "Hi Josh, first off, we want to say thank you for your patience. We know that it took longer than expected and your access is ready, and we truly appreciate you hanging in there. The good news is your access is here. You can now log in and explore the complete online Grenadier manuals. Here are your details." And it gives a login link and then a username and a password. It says, "We're so excited for you to have this resource at your fingertips. We hope you enjoy it. Love, INEOS." So, okay, so we're going to take a look at these manuals and see what the hype is about. And I'm going to warn you, they're really slow. They're really, really, really slow. And I'm sure that's because you're, hello France, with over the internet. I'm not sure. It's very detailed. I will give them that. Very detailed, but at the same time, if you're not a technical person or you're not used to using these kind of technical documents, it's going to be a little frustrating. And even for those of you that are experienced in working with your Grenadier or any other vehicle where you have online manuals, I don't know if this is slow or by comparison or if it's just slow. But my experience in just poking around, because I thought I'd bring up a couple examples, how to do a 12,000 mile service, how to change the oil. And I spent 2.5 hours just trying to get through different pages so that I could give some examples. So anyway, we're going to go to the beginning of the online manual. And this is what you see when you first log in the first time. And it basically have main topics: accessory fittings, bodybuilder's guide, customer accessories fitting instructions, description and operation, Grenadier parts catalog, owner's handbook, paint and refinish, workshop manual, and complete vehicle 0 and 0. And those actually are more accessory parts from what I see. But your choices are to search. You can search a book and you can search by country. I've been leaving it just all countries, which is basically either has US or UK at the moment. And I don't know if that affects you people in Australia or not, or if they're offering access to people in other countries. Not sure. And then, for example, if you go to workshop manuals, And you notice across the top, it says page 1 of 450. We have all Grenadier variants, rest of world and US, station wagon, utility wagon, or the quartermaster. And you go in here and it's just subtopic, subtopic, subtopic. And so I wanted to search certain things because, as I said, there are 10 listed, and there are 450 of these pages. There are 4,493 different topics, and a lot of them have subtopics. So for instance, let's take a look at some parts. I looked up the front grille, for example, and basically your guide for these images is right here. This is what you want to see. You can have these 3 boxes, I call it a hamburger menu, can give you an exploded view or an assembled view. And in some parts, it will give you a 2D drawing or a 3D drawing. This is the 3D drawing. This menu allows you to see what side of it. That's the back. That's the side. That's the other side. Oops, that's one side. And so these things help you decide what part of the part you're looking at. The next one is actually the list of the parts. And when you go back to the example, if you highlight a part, it will turn a color. And then when it's highlighted in a color, say for instance you're looking for this part or this grill. When you touch it, it lights up the part number over here, and you can zoom in or fade it in and out to see what else is there. It looks like a lot of screws, but that's what this list does. It kind of corresponds over here on the right side with the details on the left side. And for example, the front grille, let's go back to the front grille. So you're able to rotate these things. Now, that's kind of the overview of the parts and so forth. But right here, this question mark brings up a 35-page instruction guide that basically explains how to use this workshop manual and how the different parts can be found, and gives examples of what I've sort of just illustrated, but a little bit more detail, and talks about the different functions of the buttons, and also correlates the information on the other side of the screen. So it's probably worth a read. It's a little bit redundant, but at the same time, if you're going to spend a lot of time with the manuals, you'll probably want to spend a little time absorbing it. But basically, and it can be printed, that is this question mark right here. And it's almost on any screen that's got an image that comes up. So I kind of went back and said, okay, well, when I wanted to search service, because maybe you want to do a 12,000 mile, 20,000 kilometer service on your Grenadier. Well, you do a search for service, and it basically comes up with service inspection, and it includes the entire list of everything that's included in the inspection. And what I found was that sometimes when you're hovering over that list, the finger pointer comes up, and when the finger pointer comes up, it then takes you to a sub section. Like this was for wiper and screen washer system check. And I'm going to leave this on the screen for a minute, but if it gets more than like 15 seconds, we're going to just cut it out, because you are going to see this spinning wheel a lot. I mean, a lot. And this is the part of this system that sort of frustrates me. And I'm sure dealers don't have this problem, but as an external access to this guide, apparently we do. Now, a couple times as I've been using this, it said, it'll go faster if you give it more memory, and you touch the button, it says, give it 2 gigabytes, give it 4 gigabytes. And finally it said, give it 8 gigabytes. So chances are it can be impacted by those settings, but there is no place to choose settings for this technical manual that you can change. You can only do it when it says suggests it. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to come back when this thing comes up, and I'll tell you about how long it took. Okay, that actually wasn't too much worse, about another 20 seconds. But I have waited literally 5 minutes for something to come up. So you have to have some patience or plan ahead. And you can print certain things and you can go through and review certain things. And I'm not sure, because I'll be honest with you, I will not be working on my Grenadier. And if you are somebody who's adept at working with automobiles and doing mechanic-y kind of things, this may make perfect sense to you, and it's all the information you need to know, like for changing brake pads or doing an engine oil change. It might give you enough of the information and tell you where the things are that you need to access in order to do it. For me, it seems a little scant because it's literally got set the ignition to on, refer to ignition on off. Lightly pull the stalk of the steering wheel to release it. Make sure that the two window wipers are able to do a full sweep of the windscreen. And it goes through piece by piece and explains. And this is checking the windscreen washer system. And if you'll notice down below, there's an actual animation, and I'll go back to the beginning. Here we go, back to the beginning. And it will take through all of these different steps, and it will highlight the step that it's referring to when you're doing the process. So again, this may be perfect for somebody who's like, okay, I get it. I know what to do. This makes sense. And I got to do this, then I need to do that. It shows you what screws. It sort of highlights the different parts. If something has to be unscrewed, the screws turn red and they show themselves being twisted. And it goes relatively straightforward. But I think that the challenge will be finding the information that you want to find. And that just takes a little time and mastery. Because if you're somebody that works a lot with your cars, you'll probably know the technical term for what things are called. And the Grenadier workshop manuals tend to say petrol and diesel, so it's pretty straightforward. If there's something unique to, for instance, the Bell Staff Edition, it will say that. But basically, this process is explained, and it's done in 3D. I mean, it's actually pretty cool. The problem is it just takes forever to load up. And this again was just the wiper and screen washer system check, which was part of this. No. This is part of the 12-month. So each one of these doesn't necessarily turn into a finger point, but that means you can click on it and it's got a sub-instruction. And it's a little fiddly. As you see my cursor, some of them, all of a sudden they become clickable, and sometimes they're not clickable, and it's a little frustrating. But there's a lot of sub detail, but basically you have to peel the layers away like an onion in order to find what you want to find. So I did a search for, because it said one of the steps here was to change the oil, and so I did an oil filter and change, and I wanted to see what that was like. And again, it goes through and it shows things that are warning in red. There's the oil filter, and it gives a picture of that. And so, I mean, it may be all the information you need to kind of help you through what it is you're trying to do. But I'll leave it to you to leave notes in the comments. Is this something that's helpful? Is this something that just gets you started? Or is it something that you're like, okay, I'm going to just continue to take my car to the dealer? Because one of the steps in this 12-month service is to reset the service warnings, which require an OBD2 device that you probably don't have that will do the reset procedure that they need. And I don't know if you do all your work, then you need to go to your dealer anyway in order to have them reset the service warnings. Otherwise, you're going to get annoyed by the fact that your Grenadier is going to tell you that it needs service, even if you've done it. And so some of these things are the questions that are going to bear out over time as to, is this helpful? I mean, it's nice that they lived up to their promise, but is this in the end really helpful at all? Well, for some people it will be, because for instance, one of the things that you do in a 12,000 mile service is change the air filter in the cabin, and it shows you how to unsnap it and snap it in. And I think I had a viewer say that they saved $280 by just doing that themselves. And yes, they had to buy the part from INEOS because they had difficulty figuring out any corresponding substitute part. And that's the other thing. You may have to show up to your Grenadier dealer and buy the parts and then go do your work and then get them to sign off on it by resetting your service indicators. I don't know. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know it's there. There's a link in the description that shows you where on the INEOS site to request it. Understand that they will probably verify you, that your VIN number matches your name or something. So if you're not yet a Grenadier owner, I don't think you can get access, but visit a dealer and make them show you. But I guess you can be happy, or you can be like, oh, okay, wah wah. So, for those of you that wanted workshop manuals, I guess now you have them. So anyway, leave your comments. Please subscribe if you're interested. And thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next video.